Hello, I'm probably riding my bike. We're heading on a weekend trip outside of the city. Multimodal transport. I wish every country in the world could make it easier. Korea, it's not bad, it's still got a way to go. But today we're going to take a bike, a train, a car, sometimes you can't avoid it, and back on the bike again. Took the quick route along the Han River to Oksu Station. If you watched my video back in the winter, I took this route as well. The ITX, which heads east to Chuncheon, leaves from this station. It's much nicer to come to this one because it's right next to the Han River bike path. And my wife took a taxi with her Brompton, and time to climb the stairs. Technically, you're not meant to take the lift or elevator with your bike, but sometimes if there's no other people, I do. Just don't tell anyone. But today I'm being a good boy and taking my bike up the stairs. The stairs have these runners along the side, but I find them more inconvenient. I prefer just to carry my bike. A good core workout. I'll have a six-pack in no time.
ITX tile.
This station has subway trains too, so you have to buzz through to take the intercity train. It's quite an old school station. It reminds me of what the stations used to be like when I first moved here. Picking up a few little kimbaps. It's got about 10 minutes to wait for the train. Always good to come a little early. A couple of subway trains go past. We don't want to take the wrong one. And time for the ITX. Sometimes in my videos you might think that Korea is a multimodal transport utopia. It's pretty good, much better than a lot of countries. But this is the only intercity train line that you can bring your bike on. And each train has 4 spaces. Beggars can't be choosers. I'm lucky to have this too. It's a nice easy way to get out of the city. Otherwise, I'm usually putting my bike in the bottom of the bus, which is still comfortable here. I'm always surprised when there's 2 free spaces for bikes on the train, because they're usually fully booked. But I think sometimes people just book them because there aren't any other seats available, so they just take their bike seats. Enjoying our delectable mini kimbap and taking in the views. This is just going past Gapyeong Station. And an hour later, we've arrived at Chuncheon, the city where Gangwon-do, the province Gangwon-do, begins. Taking my bike down the stairs, working out which exit to go to, lugging our bikes through, and just by the station, we have hired a car. I'm pretty against using cars all the time, but there's a time and a place where you need them. In a city in Seoul where there's amazing subways and buses, I don't really understand why people want to go around in a car, take up space and be in traffic. But when you're in the countryside, there's not really many other choices, and sometimes they're just the best way to get around. I got my license as soon as I could when I was 17 because I lived in a small town with infrequent buses where they didn't really run to schedule and you could be waiting hours for the next bus. So getting my license was the first sense of freedom I had as a young adult. But since I moved to the city when I went to university, I got rid of my cars and I haven't looked back since. But it's good to have my license and be able to rent them when I need them. I could have rented a car from Seoul, but driving in and out of Seoul was absolute hell, so I'd much rather zip on the train. In smaller towns, I love going to these Nonghyop Hanoro-mart, where they have really nice fresh ingredients, and they often have a corner where all the food is locally produced. But most of the stuff is grown in Korea anyway. We're getting some delicious leaves for our barbecue. And the deeper the thud, the more delicious the watermelon is. Just around the corner, some countryside cooking. In the countryside, you still have to take your shoes off when you enter a restaurant. Most of them have table seating now. They used to have to sit on the floor. And we got some kaljijorim, braised belt fish. It's a long silver fish braised with radish and potato, spring onions, and some other ingredients with some spicy chili flakes. This was one of the best I've had for a long, long time. And of course, Clean Bowl Club, despite those little bits of green onion left over. Quick dessert of fresh peaches, soft and delicious, not from a can. All good. Not too far to go now to our B&B, where we'll leave the car and get our bikes ready. When we planned this weekend away, it was just to get out of Seoul and go somewhere quiet. We weren't sure whether we were going to bring our bikes or not, but my wife suggested that we should, and we were both grateful that she decided that. She's not as bike crazy as me. Not many people are. So I appreciate when she wants to go for a bike ride and suggests it for us too. This was just a nice short ride exploring the local area. No cars at all. I think at the end of this road was a gravel road. I'd quite like to go back and explore myself too. As I said in my other video, 5 minutes of your day of riding a bike would be the best 5 minutes of your day. This was longer than 5 minutes, and it was definitely the best part of my day. Lots of cornfields. We bought some steamed corn on another day, which you didn't see. The corn here is a little bit kind of more chewy and less naturally sweet, more kind of grainy flavour. It's really delicious. You just buy it from the car on the roadside.
It was.
And here's me being a fool, showing off my skidding with my strong pull brakes. I know I didn't know my wife was almost going to crash into me. But we survived, we didn't fall off. Fun fact, I didn't learn to confidently ride with no hands until I was in my 30s. So that I don't mind showing off now. Who says you can't teach an old dog new tricks? It's definitely easier on such a long bike with wide handlebars. I don't think it's possible on a Brompton. Most of the ride so far was uphill, just a slight incline, not too hard. So it's nice to just coast and cruise down to the bottom. Soaking all in the scenery, enjoying the clean air and the smell of the countryside. And now it's time to find a nice refreshing stream to dip our toes into. And I think we found it. There seem to be some people enjoying it already. And this dog didn't bark too much. Korea is incredibly mountainous. I'm not sure what percent is covered by mountains, but I'd guess about 80%. Did you know that about 80% of statistics are made up? Just parking our bikes, and we found a nice spot to dip our toes in. I wasn't brave enough to submerge myself completely, but my feet felt alive and I felt like I was walking on clouds afterwards. I forgot to bring my Crocs, so it's socks onto wet feet again, and a short ride home, picking out the sticks out of my rear wheel and showing off, riding up to our B&B. The Clem is suitably geared. It's not just my strong legs. But my wife was impressed, I think. She had to walk hers up. I blame the Brompton, not her. Enjoying a dinner of local beef with an incredible view and just chilling It rained the whole of the next day, so it was a good excuse to edit this video and just spend the day chilling. Not something I usually do. The last day was much nicer, so back out on the bikes. An exciting ride down the hill. And this time, I'm determined to get fully into the stream. Don't be a wimp. It's just cold for the first few seconds, and it gets much nicer. We just did the same ride again because we knew it was safe and didn't see a single car. Showing off again. Just having a nice chat. Contemplating whether we should move to the countryside. But I think I'd miss all the cafes in Seoul too much. We found the first perfect swimming spot. Nice and secluded. And it wasn't as cold as I thought. After a few seconds, it was really nice. I stayed in for quite a while. The rest of the day I felt amazing. I'm not one of those bros who's going to talk about ice baths and how you must spend some time in one at 5 a.m. every day. But swimming in nature is definitely something to lift your spirits. We were kind of sad to leave and pack up the bikes in the car again. But we had a wonderful time and we still had the day ahead. Quite a nice chilled ride back to Chuncheon. And when in Chuncheon, you must have some dakgalbi, marinated chicken thigh or chicken leg, deboned, and you grill it on top of hot coals. This one was a bit different because it had some stones on top of the coals. I've been to this restaurant before at the end of a 120-kilometre ride from Seoul to Chuncheon, all on bike lanes. But this kind of meal you have to order 2 portions, even if you're eating by yourself. Of course I could. Some makguksu, which is also a local delicacy, the cold buckwheat noodles. You know I'm a big fan of cold nudes. And clean dol club. Dropped off the car, back on the train. Hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe if you want to see more. See you later.